Joining me right now is a guy who's basically become the conductor of some of the biggest musical moments on the planet, from DJing President Obama's inauguration, Jay-Z and Beyonce's wedding, creating a cultural phenomenon of Pass the Mic. He's bringing an all-star lineup of hip-hop royalty to Mohegan Sun Arena October 11th for Mohegan Sun's 30th anniversary celebration. Please welcome the modern-day maestro himself, DJ Cassidy. What's up, brother?
Mikey V, what an introduction.
Yeah.
I don't know that this talk can quite match the bar you have set, but I will try.
Listen, I'm so pumped to have you. Like, absolute legend with what you're doing. Talk to me about Pass the Mic Live, how you got started into that. What do we get to expect here at Mohegan Sun?
Well, there's 6 years that led us to this 30th anniversary show.
Yeah.
The story starts in the spring of 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
When I was FaceTiming with my friend and mentor, Verdine White of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That is amazing.
I don't say that lightly. And during our call, the prolific Earth, Wind ballad, That's the Way of the World, came on my Sonos speakers right here in this living room, actually. And Verdine heard his song in the background and began singing along to his own record.
Wow.
Like, hearts of fire, create love, desire. And I got chills down my spine. With the world in flux, I said, how fortunate am I to have relationships with so many of my musical heroes? And maybe there was a way that I could give people around the world the feeling that I had at that very moment of connecting with their favorite artists on a personal level. And I immediately envisioned what became Pass the Mic. And 2 months later, I completed what became Pass the Mic Volume 1, featuring, of course, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and about 20 other R&B icons of the 1970s and 1980s. And that show went viral, for lack of a better word. And I kicked into full gear and went into Pass the Mic Volume 2, celebrating my hip-hop heroes. And the first artist on that episode was Run DMC, and then LL Cool J, and then Public Enemy, and then Rakim, and then Big Daddy Kane. And that episode went viral. And then I kicked into a Volume 3. And by the 4th episode, it was a television series on BET. Huge. And this all happened between July of 2020 and November of 2020. And I never in my wildest dreams thought at the beginning of the pandemic that I would be creating and hosting a television show, let alone connecting with the greatest hip hop and R&B artists of all time. And long story short, after 10 episodes, I had passed the mic to 220 hip hop and R&B icons. Shaka Khan, Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, Charlie Wilson, New Edition, TLC, and Vogue SWV, and every hip hop artist that changed the game over the decades. I mentioned Run DMC, LL Cool J, Public Enemy, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, to Ice Cube, Wu-Tang Clan, Busta Rhymes, Ja Rule, Fat Joe, and we'll talk about them again in a minute.
Yes. I want to bring that up.
And after the 10th episode, I kind of retired the show as we knew it. It was time for me to take it on the road, for me to create the live version of what I had been doing in my living room remotely with these artists around the country. And in May of 23, I produced the very first Pass the Mic live concert in Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center Arena. And the very first show sold out 12,000 tickets. And it's been a mind-blowing experience over the past 3 years doing this at live shows, arenas and theaters around the country. We've sold out Radio City Music Hall. We've sold out the world famous Kia Forum in Los Angeles.
I saw that.
We've done Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve 2 years in a row, viewed by 40 million people. We did NBA All-Star halftime live on TNT, and so many other big live events, concerts, and television. And I'm just so excited for this upcoming show at Mohegan Sun on October 11th. First of all, it's Mohegan Sun's 30th anniversary, and
big deal, man. Huge deal.
It's a huge deal. Just judging by the artists that they have involved. It's it's a 2-week celebration for them.
Yeah.
And they have Alanis Morissette and the Foo Fighters and John Mayer and huge rock and roll, huge pop acts, and Pass the Mic Live is the only hip hop and R&B experience over the 2 weeks. And look, I grew up in New York City, so it was always a big deal to go to Mohegan Sun on the weekends. It was a special occasion. It was a getaway. It was the casino. It was nightlife. It was restaurants.
Right. We dress up. We're feeling good.
100%. It was a limo ride. It was an excuse to get out of the city and to drive a couple hours and escape. And I used to DJ at Mohegan Sun all the time. In fact, I DJ'd their 20th anniversary party.
No kidding.
And so for me to be back after all these years on a much larger scale, bringing Pass the Mic Live to their arena is a real honor.
We cannot wait to have you. We're speaking with DJ Cassidy, Pass the Mic Live, as we said, October 11th, Mohegan Sun. This is huge. Now, we didn't talk about this before. I'm also a DJ at Mohegan Sun. I do a lot of the venues, the clubs, and everything else. And as a DJ yourself, the fact that you get to rock with hip-hop legends, I mean, icons that this is what we do. Like, we look up to these guys and we play their music. And now you're hanging out with them. You're bringing a show. I can imagine that feeling. I didn't say who's coming with you. This is a big one.
Oh, we'll get there.
All right. Want to wait on that? I know. It's super exciting. There are tickets on sale right now. Mohegansun.com. And where else you want to go?
So there's a few things to unpack here. First of all, yes, I think we can relate as DJs to what an incredible feeling it is to share a stage with our heroes, particularly our hip hop heroes. Simply put, it's the greatest honor of my life. Pass the Mic has been quite a journey, a 6-year journey. And really, we've just begun to scratch the surface. The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And I spent the first 3 years of the 6-year journey connecting with my musical heroes remotely for this unique, innovative experience that I called Pass the Mic. And since it's become a live concert experience, I've now been able to rock with my musical heroes on stage and to be the maestro, to be the conductor of the artists that have shaped who I am as a DJ, an MC, a music lover, a person, is truly a mind-blowing experience, which brings me to this show. I wanted this show to feel iconic because I think Mohegan Sun is iconic. There's a lot of casino destinations, countless around the country, and there are very few that stand out. And Mohegan Sun is one of those for so many reasons. And I knew who else they were bringing.
Right.
So
right.
I knew I knew we had to be iconic. And we are bringing 5 guests that are going to come together to create with me a very unique, one night only, one of a kind collaborative experience that you can only get with Pass the Mic Live. And those 4 artists are Busta Rhymes, Ja Rule, Fat Joe, Jadakiss, and Nelly.
Let's go.
This is the soundtrack of an era personified. And what is unique about Pass the Mic Live is, unlike many other shows, there are no changeovers or intermissions. This is one continuous, seamless 3-hour musical experience that I curate meticulously, minute by minute. I already have the entire show written out, and I'm beginning to produce every moment. And you know, the renditions you hear are unique. The collaborations are special. And you will likely never see this specific show again. It's a very unique experience for every occasion. And I knew we had to come big. And,
Heavy
you know,
hitters.
I have loved watching all the festivities in New York City, my hometown, over the past month, from the New York Knicks winning the championship to Jay-Z's 3 nights at Yankee Stadium. I have really felt that New York has been on fire. And although I've lived in LA now for 10 years, I will always be a New Yorker at heart. And, you know, the song New York by Ja Rule, Fat Joe, and Jadakiss has been an anthem for 20 years, but has become such an anthem once again over the past month. And we're planning very, you know, and we're planning something very special for that. And that's just one moment out of dozens that I have in mind that we're going to begin to put together for this special occasion.
You say New York hip hop, New York legends, right? Connecticut, we're in between New York and Boston. This is something that CT has needed for a long time. All right. I mean, all those names and yourself under one roof is going to be unbelievable. You have to tell me something about these guys. Busta, Fat Joe, Ja Rule, Jada, Nelly. During rehearsals, do these guys immediately start like competing with each other?
You know,
but as love, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Of course. I think that competition is something that is not only normal, especially in hip hop, but healthy. But I think more than competition is another C word that really creates the magic in Pass the Mic, and that's camaraderie. I kid you not that the camaraderie I've witnessed, particularly within hip hop peers, has been so chilling that I'm going to say something that sounds overly dramatic, but it has put a tear in my eye at various points over the past 6 years. The camaraderie in hip hop is unlike anything I've ever seen. So hip hop is always competitive, and everyone, I think, wants and aims to outdo each other. That's the sport of the music and the sport of the culture. But the camaraderie that sparks at Pass the Mic shows is a beautiful thing. And the camaraderie really starts backstage, and it filters on to the stage. So many of our hip hop heroes are friends, and they go back many years, in many cases to before when they were famous, and they have so many stories with each other. And that goes for every era of hip hop, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. There's so much history. So when you bring together hip hop giants and you script, in a sense, collaborative moments, it's those unscriptable things that come alive that you couldn't possibly script because of the history between the artists.
It must be so cool hearing some of these stories too from these guys, you know, because again, when you're started DJing, right, we're picking up these records, you're loving everything that they're playing. Now you're working with them every day. Hearing that stuff backstage must be unreal.
Look, sometimes I'm disappointed the day after the show because there's a whole world I miss backstage during the show.
Right. Yeah, you're out there.
I'm on
like you
stage
said, conducting.
I'm on stage for 3 hours.
Yeah.
let's say the show starts at 8:30. I don't walk off till the show's over. Every show's 2.5 to 3 hours, and it goes by in the blink of an eye. You can't even believe that length of time passed. And I see videos on people's phones that they filmed from the backstage area of artists cheering each other on when someone walks back down the steps behind the stage. Everyone's hugging each other, and literally there are artists watching the TV monitor backstage cheering each other on. And in many cases, they're not all peers. In many cases, there are artists who look up to other artists. I remember one show we did in Vegas where Raekwon was backstage watching Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh on stage. And he was watching the screen in awe, and he goes, it's like water. It's like water to them. He kept repeating that, and he was in awe of his heroes. So that's another thing I love to do, is bring together people from different generations who look up to each other. So the whole journey over the past 6 years, particularly the last 3 years of the live experience, has been very surreal. You know, last December, when we were rehearsing for Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, right? This show's been on air for 54 years, 40 million people watch it. And Pass the Mic has been on that show 2 years in a row. The first year with Ja Rule, Fat Joe, Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh. And this past year with Wyclef Jean, T.I., and Busta Rhymes. And when we were rehearsing, I brought something to show Busta. It was an autograph that he signs for me in the year 1993 at a record signing he did for the Leaders of the New School's second album at a record store called HMV, which was a New York chain. And I waited in line as a kid, and I kept the piece of paper that he signed. And he couldn't believe that I had that piece of paper. And I have these photo albums of, I have more from age 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 than I do from age 18, 19, and 20. I just saved all those early years of being a DJ, which I started DJing at age 10. And all those early years, amazing. And all those early years of autographs and photos I've saved.
How about you've taken this show all over the world? You've performed like these biggest arenas. Is there still a bucket list venue for DJ Cassidy?
There are so many. I think Madison Square Garden is at the top of that list. Pass the Mic came to Radio City Music Hall on July 21st, 2023. And it was the greatest night of my life. And I don't know if that will ever be topped, but I certainly would love to do something similar at Madison Square Garden. And
legend spot.
You know, we've played many arenas and many theaters over the past 3 years, but the bucket list is never ending. You know, I had 220 artists on the TV show. And everyone would always ask me, if you kept going, how could you have? There was no one left, but there were so many people left. There's no way to exhaust incredible music and incredible artists. And there were so many artists that I hadn't had on the show, and so many artists who have not yet partaken in the live experience. I have featured 160 artists on the live show. But there are so many who I haven't. I actually keep track on an Excel sheet, to be perfectly honest.
That's great.
I actually write them down on an Excel sheet so I can just see the number as they continue, and I can always go back in alphabetical order and see who's been a part. But you know, it's equally exciting for me to work with artists who I've done it with and artists that I've never done it with. There's a familiarity and kind of a familial vibe with people who you've done it with before. And you begin to feel each other's motions without even having to say it. Like, you become a band when you get together. You know, for instance, Ja Rule and Fat Joe were part of a Las Vegas residency that I had in the summer of 2024. And that was a 3-week residency at Planet Hollywood in Vegas 2 summers ago. and Ja Rule coined us the Rat Pack, R-A-P, the Rat Pack.
Oh, that's dope, dude.
And
that's
it was it was himself, Fat Joe, Slick Rick, Dougie Fresh, and me. And every night we had special guests. So one night we had Akon, one night we had Raekwon, one night we had Too Short and Warren G, one night we had Jermaine Dupri and the Brad. And so when Joe and myself get together, it's like getting the gang back together.
The Rat Pack, baby.
And you know, Nelly came out as a surprise on Valentine's Day a few months ago at the Kia Forum with Ashanti. She and I brought him out, unbeknownst to everyone in the arena. But he and I have never done it officially like this. He's never officially been on a Pass the Mic bill. So he will be a first timer in that sense. So this show is bringing together people who are really part of the Pass the Mic family and people who were somewhat, somewhat more new to it. So that's another reason why I'm so excited about this show.
DJ Cassidy, Mohegan Sun Arena, October 11th for Mohegan Sun's 30th anniversary celebration is on the line right now. This is going to be the most iconic, legendary show you do not want to miss. DJ Cassidy, your opinion, most underrated decade for music?
Oh, that's such a tough question.
I know.
You know, it's I almost don't have an answer because I think that the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I think, have always gotten their props. And as we've gotten further away from the 90s, the 90s have become more nostalgic, not only for music, but for fashion. And I'm starting to see that what happened to the 90s happened to the 2000s. So I actually don't think that there is a decade starting at the 70s. I don't think that there's a decade that is underrated. And I think the 2000s is starting to feel more nostalgic to people.
For sure.
I don't think it takes many years for music to become nostalgic. To be honest, I had a philosophical discussion about this with someone about a year ago. And I made a statement that was something like, I think it only takes 5 years for music to strike a nostalgic emotion in you. And so when people say nostalgia, sometimes they think childhood, high school, a decade ago, 2 decades ago. I think music that you first heard 5 years ago begins to create an emotional, nostalgic reaction. And as a DJ, I've always tried to harness that because I look at DJing as, taking people on an emotional journey.
Yes.
You know, when I was producing the Pass the Mic television show, it was always very important to end on a song that had emotion. So some songs get you crazy, right? Hands in the air, they make you want to put a fist through a wall, right? I never end on those songs. The songs at the end of the episodes always had to feel emotional. So the final episode of the TV show aired on BET in conjunction with the BET Hip Hop Awards. And the era of music I celebrated on that episode was very much the era of music that we're celebrating at Mohegan Sun. And that show featured Method Man and Redman and so many members of Wu-Tang. And it ended with Ice Cube, Today Was a Good Day. And that felt like the perfect cap, not only on that episode on the series, because of the emotion of the record.
The nostalgia thing that we're talking about. I mean, what do you still DJ weddings really? Or, I mean, it's going to be like celebrity weddings, right? But
I DJ, maybe 1 or 2 weddings a year. I DJ now like I've always DJed. That will always be my bread and butter. And so, of course, Pass the Mic has taken up so much of my time. So I think I do a little less of it than I used to. But I'll always DJ. That's
right
in me.
What I'm getting at is the 2000s we were talking before. It's making that comeback now that people are requesting like crazy. I've seen it a lot. And, we're bringing in these people here that you said could be nostalgia 5 years ago, nostalgia a decade ago. I think just having legends that you're bringing is people are not going to know what to do. Well, Nelly, I mean, everyone.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think the music of the 2000s has officially impacted people in the way that music of the 70s did and 80s did and 90s did. And
I love disco, though. You can't touch,
wrote the
path on so much.
Of course, the R&B dance music of the late 70s and early 80s is the foundation to all celebratory music of the present. And I've always said that the dance music of the late 1970s and early 1980s is the most universal dance music of all time.
Yes.
And there's not one party that I've DJ'd my entire life where I don't play those records. Earth, Wind and Fire, Chic, Prince, Michael Jackson, Shaka Khan, and so many others. Those are the greatest dance records of all time. And those records and those artists are really the foundation of who I am as a DJ.
And it's just fun. Everyone can relate to it. Everyone's going to hear a 70s, like you said, early 80s song, and it's going to get the party going. You know what I mean?
100%. And that's why I call those records the most universal dance records of all time.
So DJ Cassidy bringing legends to Mohegan Sun. Jadakiss, Ja Rule, Busta Rhymes, Nelly, DJ Cassidy himself,
and Fat Joe.
Live. A Fat Joe. See what I'm saying? There's so many legends, hip hop, just kings.
Busta Rhymes, Ja Rule, Fat Joe, Jadakiss, Nelly, and we're known to have special guests. So you might never know, and me, of course. And tickets go on sale tomorrow, Friday, but there is a pre-sale going on as we speak. I'm not supposed to blast the code on this level, but what the hell? The code is past the mic. It couldn't be simpler. If you're hearing this today, Thursday, go on Ticketmaster and get your pick of the litter. Get your seats early. Every one of these shows has sold out. I don't say that lightly. I say that with the utmost appreciation. I'm so honored how hard people go. And if this show is like the others, they're going to sell out fast. So don't even wait till it goes on general sale. Go on the Ticketmaster pre-sale today. Type in the code past the mic. Pick your premium seats. They always release the best ones first. And I couldn't be more excited for this special occasion. I've already begun to put together the whole show. And honestly, I try not to break the 3-hour mark, but let me tell you, I'm tempted.
It's probably hard, right?
I'm tempted.
Real quick before I let you go, how about I do some quick hits for you? All right, we'll close it out with some fun ones.
Yeah.
All right, ready? All right. Better DJ city, New York or Las Vegas?
New York.
Best wedding song ever?
September, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Favorite hip hop album?
Illmatic.
Ooh. Yankees or Mets?
I'm not a sports guy.
All right, that's fine. One thing on your rider?
Organic honey.
All right. You got to have the tea, right? I saw you drinking that earlier.
Always.
Smart move. And lastly, one piece of advice to anyone who wants to be a DJ today.
Celebrate your heroes.
Let's go. DJ Cassidy, I cannot wait. October 11th, Pass the Mic Live, Mohegan Sun's 30th anniversary. It's going to be huge, brother. Honor and a pleasure.
It is going to be huge. Honor is all mine. Best conversation yet. Thank you for having me from DJ to DJ, and cannot wait to have you there.